Okay, here we go. I want to do an introduction to the Ho amp. This is the Ho amp that's right in front of you. We have your master volume, which is part of the attenuator, bass, treble, and your volume. This is the normal bright switch. Some will call it a plexi switch. This is the fixed bias, and this is cathode bias. Down is cathode bias, up or down. Now the more you turn this is like a preamp, and then you've got a preamp here, a preamp in that you could put in as well. But okay, now the switches that we have here that are above the base switch, this is for your loop. We have a loop which is a completely clean loop, and this is the volume control for the loop, and whatever effects that you put through, you do the master adjustment on there. But this is the one and only master, the amount that you'd like. I usually use a reverb or a delay, and I can dial in how much volume that I want, how much I want it in the mix. These are bright, and these are just kind of I can't even use the word modeling. They actually just contour like a cut, not like a Dr. Z, because there is no rectifier tubes in this, but it's kind of like cut and a trim. These controls, they actually, you move the switches. I can do the demo, but it's really hard to tell because you actually have to be in the room. Let me turn up the volume here. All I have is I go from one cable, the red cable, into the guitar. Here we are. And there's no microphones, nothing attached. I'm going through a Sheptone pickups in the guitar. It's a Stratocaster, 1980 Stratocaster with Sheptone vintage pickups with a George L cable, very simple, basic. For the speaker, I use a Tweed Deluxe cabinet with a Scumback 65 speaker, which is a nice bassy mid, not so crispy, but more of a mid low sounding. Now, basically with this here guitar amp, you have oodles. It's about a 30 some odd watt, I don't know, because I can turn it right up, and it gets pretty loud. You can get some pretty good punch out of it. It gets pretty crisp. And it gets pretty muffled. You can hear that. You can sharpen it up. And you can turn this down to almost nothing. I hope you can hear that. And nothing really changes in the sound. You get all the quack if you want. It's a really trebly kind of. I'll put a little bit more low into it. You can still get that quack, you can hear it. much it. Okay, let's go into the full bridge. Okay, that's with the tone fully bassed out. Let me treble it right up. One thing that you get with this amp is a lot of treble. I usually cut this back, and that's why I have the line over here. I've found that this is about a real happy space. I don't get too trebly, and I still keep. Now I can do the same thing with the Tweed Deluxe here. They're relatively similar, but you got a little bit more capability with this one here. You get a lot more chime. I won't go into playing with the humbuckers or anything, but the humbuckers, you get a completely different sound. For the price that you pay for this amp, it is well worth it. It runs so cool. I don't have to worry about cooking the tubes. So I don't work for the company. I got it off a friend of mine. I bought it off a friend of mine that needed money really bad. He had to make his rent. So he sold it to me, and I went and I spoke to Mr. Ho, and it was just a basic, and he put in all these extra modifications in here for me. It had the preamp, and yeah, no, he's done it. I use it a lot in the studio. Just the recent album that I'm working on right now, it's done it. It's very clean. One of my buddies used it for a couple of gigs and studio work. He's a jazz guitar player. He requires a clean sound. It's a must check out. There's another fella here on Mr. Ho's site that gives a pretty good demo of it and a little bit more explanation. But if you have any questions, just contact Mr. Ho and he can fill you in. Until then, peace, recycle, and happy hunting. Thank you kindly. Bye-bye.